Move faster, the commander bellowed, springing antelope-like into the line of fire, allowing the small arms fire to wash over him. His ECM easily dealing with the buzz bombs tossed his way. Don't just stand there, charge. His graphic demonstration of superiority emboldened the soldiers with him, who finally stopped cowering and charged forward. A quick sweep of their lasers dispatched the drone turrets, and they breached the outer doors without trouble. Demolitions, the specialist answered when prompted. Make me a hole. Despite protests, the commander insisted. Do it. His troops followed suit, albeit tentatively. These Marines aren't the hardened commandos I'm used to leading, the commander growled. But needs must. As they encountered resistance, the commander led the charge, destroying drones and buzz bombs with ease. Radar informed him they were on the last level. Demolitions, he growled again, as they approached a large secure door. Despite their hesitance, the soldiers followed his orders, though not as swiftly as he'd like. As the door began to open, the commander readied a grenade volley, but paused as a hologram shimmered to life, indicating surrender. Be ready for anything, he warned, then bounded through the gap. Inside, the cultists, unarmed but baring their teeth in what his armor identified as a display of friendliness or humor, surrounded a strange apparatus in the room. He whirled upon them, recognizing the scientists. The most senior among them began to emit an odd barking sound, which his armor identified as laughter. You're too late, he said. It's already active. The commander glanced back at the strange, brain-hurting contraption, then jammed his gun muzzle into the apparent leader's face. It's a time machine, the soldiers murmured uneasily. Time machines were myth and legend, not something they expected to encounter. How long? The commander demanded. About a minute, the senior cultist replied, his grin widening. Just enough to confirm it works. Whatever mad plan you had, it ends here, the commander declared, eyeing the swirling vortex. No, nothing is going to come out of it, the cultist insisted. It's going to be destroyed in a couple of minutes, and that will be the end of it. The people in the shielded room were walking violations of laws against immortality and cybernetic augmentation. They were the shadow government of the human race, beyond the control of any authority. The project was successful, one of them announced. The Oracle transmitted a staggering amount of information in the 5 minutes it was operational. The revelation sent them into fits of nervous giggling, which gradually escalated into hysterical laughter. After a few minutes, the room fell silent once more. We've won. One of them whispers to the dying commander, who senses his impending death. He sits on the red desert rock, his 4 whip-like legs coiled beneath him. I come to rejoin you, he thinks, slipping the euthanasia tab under his tongue. As his mind slips away, his final regret is that they never discovered who was behind the time machine. Suddenly, he finds himself wide awake and healthy, still sitting on the red desert rocks, gazing into the rising sun. Is this the afterlife? He wonders aloud. Yes and no, a human replies, standing in front of him. The commander recognizes him as the leader of the scientist cult. You were executed for crimes against sapience. This must be the afterlife, the commander mutters, unable to convince himself otherwise. Do you know what the cool thing about time machines is? The human asks, ignoring the commander's question. They allow for a computer of literally infinite power. The human explains how a time machine, even if it exists for only 5 minutes, can simulate all possible universes and combinations of atoms and physical laws, including the one that created the time machine in the first place. He adds, allowing the bombshell to sink in. The commander struggles to follow. So how does that lead to this? He asks, bewildered. It's quite simple, really, the human replied. Since the time machine is running a perfect simulation of its own universe, it's also running a perfect copy of everyone in that universe. So while an instance of you died in the external universe, the instance running in the simulation was preserved. So I'm just a copy. The real me is dead. The commander slumped. You're a copy, but you're not just a copy, the human explained. You haven't died any more than a computer program ceases to exist when a copy of it is deleted. Why rescue me? Why not? The commander trailed off. Your fellow scientists simply grinned in response, the human replied. Oh, you're resurrecting everyone, the commander realized. Across all possible universes, the human confirmed with a laugh. Could I see my family again? The commander asked. Only a thought away, the human replied, vanishing. The commander stood up, feeling time indeterminate yet somehow shorter. He conjured a simple wooden door in the middle of the red desert and stepped through into eternity.